of these. So I know for a fact that the expense in thousand goes from 136,560 a year up to a high of 472,600 a year. Okay? So if you go back to the original Excel that we have, so this is the one, right? So average expenditures of people would be like a total of this, right? So we have to um get, okay, copy this first, the first deciles and all that. Okay, let's just copy that here. Okay, and then copy the amount, the actual amount. So let's just make sure that it's not a formula. Okay, so this is me. So this is in thousands. Okay, so in thousands and annual. Okay, so that's the average expenditures of people. And remember, if we are looking at 163,000 families, if you divide this by 10, that means first decile has, divide this by 10, okay? Actually, you don't need to do this. I'm just, uh, you know, showing it to you. So round down again. So you just move your decimal point one place to the left. Of course, if you do it like this, you will miss about 2 points there. Sorry. Okay, you have to press F4 there. In my case, I'm just inserting the dollar sign so that it will be the same, right? So if you add this one, it doesn't add up to your data simply because you run down. So we have 163,070, you lack 5 people or 5 households. That's okay, right? So this is now your, again, in thousands, 136,000 divided by 16,000 of them. Okay, that's your market ongoing. Okay, this is the number of households. Now, if you are, and this is the next one that you have to understand, if you are going to put up a restaurant, you have to understand which is your target market. If your target market is the lower end, then you will have to put yellow in this. So, for example, this is my target. So, probably this is the E crowd, class E. We call it class E. Again, I don't believe in this, all right? So, I mean, we don't like to call people class E, class D, but, you know, for the sake of calculation, especially of the market, you have to call them as they are. At least in their amount of business that they can offer to us. Because these are their expenses, right? So if you are targeting only the D and the E, for example, you have your carinderia, okay, or small canteen, and this is your market, right? So what is this? You have to add this, okay? So the ongoing market before you enter will be, okay, so this is 136,560, right? So you have to multiply this, remembering that we are multiplying with an additional 1,000 there, okay? So that's an additional 3 zeros here, okay? So now if you want to divide, you make it 1 million, you divide it by 1 million. So this is add zeros, okay? So divide by 1,000. So this is in millions. Okay? Why? Because this is 136,000 multiplied by this. So let's just do it the long way. 136,000, so that's multiplied by 1,000, multiplied by the households. So you have 2.2 billion pesos. Yeah. So that's 2.2 billion pesos. So 2,226 million pesos. That is your market for the first to the fourth decile. If you sum this up, this is your market for the year. Okay? But this is not the food expenditures. This is just the total expenditures. Okay, and this is also considering that you only have choosing only D and E. If you're choosing um, a letter C, class C and class B, then this will change. Okay, so we have 12 billion pesos in the total expenditures in your area. Okay, for the year. However, we want to know how many percent. That is your question. How many percent is allocated for food? Because that is our industry. Actually, not just food, but food consumed away from home. How did I know this? Of course, I handled HRM before, and their feasibility. Well, I always teach them like this, and I always tell them there are two terms there in food, so you have to understand both food and then the food consumed away from home. Okay, so we have to ask again how many percent. But according to my previous dealings with FIs, it's at 5%. So let's just see if it's still correct. Okay, so this is not directly according to my uh, analysis now. It's not directly calculable. Okay, so because it is embedded within the expense of food. However, through the years, I looked at it. Food away from home, FAFH. FAFH by itself is 5% of the total expenditures. It's actually uh, food away from home comprise about 35% of the total food expenditures. Okay? But if you compare food to the total, so it's about 10% or something like that. So it will give you FAFH is about 5% for food consumed away from home. So let's just assume that previous years, 2015, 2018, 2012, is the same. So that's 5%. But of course, if we will see a newer data that suggests otherwise, we will have to change this. So 5%, right? So that means if this is the total market of all for this class, class E and D, then million pesos. So you will have to get to just to the total, multiply this by 0.05, which is 5%. Okay? It means that we have 600 million pesos, okay, of expenditures in food consumed away from home is being consumed in our declared area of influence. That's it. So based on this. So if I'm going to change this, this will change. All of this will change. Okay? This will change and then this will change. Right? In the current example, since all of these are merely connected to the one above, so we will have a total of 602 million pesos consumed away from home. Okay? So if this is your market, for restaurants. Okay? Because food consumed away from home, right? So if that is your market, you have to note that this is actually annual. So if you divide it by 12, that is your monthly market. This is your monthly, and this is your annual, 602 million. So 50 million actually, you know, are being shared. In the amount is being shared to all the companies that are selling food away from home, right? Let us say now, let's calculate how many competitors do we have, because that is the main thing. Competitors. How many competitors do we have? So in a 5 kilometer radius, that is all, right? So there's not too many in that area. But let's assume that there are about 200 competitors there. Again, so this is the number of competitors is 200. Okay. So when you go back to this, every time there is a number, that means you have to put it. In this case, it's a formula. Don't do anything with that. But this one is calculated based on this and so on. Okay, so this is very important. You have to enter on this. So let's say it's 200 competitors. So that means on the average, you should have at least the sales should be about 0.25 million pesos, or actually 0.25 million pesos is 250,000 pesos, right? So let's just multiply it by 1 million. Yeah, that is this is now the market monthly. Okay? So that will give you now more or less your projected sale at least. If all else are equal, in a so-called ceteris paribus case, this should be our um, revenue. This is the revenue on the average of our competitors monthly. 251,000. So divided by 30 again. So you should have at least 8,000 a day, which is, I think, believable, no? 8,300, because we're talking about the class D and E only. You're not catering to A, B, and C. So that means these are the people who are going there in your canteen. So 8,000 a day, that is actually what you are, um, selling. So we will continue this because this is not yet finished. So this is your daily expected sales. So we are actually trying to get, so what will be our daily expected sale? What if, Sir George, what if there's not, this not, the competitors is not 200 but 300? So you will see that it changes. It becomes 5,500 because there's just too many people or too many competitors in your area. Okay? You stand to earn about 167,000 pesos monthly. Okay? And then, of course, we will have to calculate the cost of goods and then the operating cost, which we will do all of that next time. Okay? So, I hope you learned something about this. I will distribute this Excel to you and study this. Pause if you must. If you cannot understand where I got the numbers, just look at it again. Some of these are assumptions. Some of them are wild assumptions. Even to 5%, if you look at it, we didn't see it in the FIs this year, but I know that in the previous FIs, FIES, particularly in 12, 15, and 18, maybe not 18, I'm not sure with 18, but at least 9, 12, and 15. it was at 5%. So that's the reason why I'm choosing 5%. Okay, if you will look at my uh, expenditures, for diagnostics and medicine, you will see that the diagnostics is just 1.75. Okay, so this is actually another thing that I estimated when it comes to diagnostic labs and medicines. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again next time. Thank you very much.